To work with Jupyter Notebooks in Google Colab, you just go to Google, type in Google Colab, hit enter, and usually the first link here will direct you to Colab. You get some greeting screen here, you can have some examples, some other things, not important. So on the lower right there's new notebook, just click on it and it will open your first Jupyter Notebook. And this is how it looks like. So this is a Jupyter Notebook. Up here you have the file name, so IPy, this is for IPython notebook. This is the typical ending for Jupyter Notebook. So for example, I can put in here then my first Jupyter Notebook. Hit return, and that's it. Now here we have these kind of cells. You can click in a cell and then start your program. For example, 3 + 4. On the Mac you can hit Command Enter and it will execute the code, or you can click on this play button and it will also execute the code. This might take a couple of seconds, usually only with the first cell, and the Colab is a little bit slower than the other version of Jupyter Notebooks, but it's usually okay. Now the thing is here then that you can execute your code always in these kind of cells, and then down here you are offered with a new code, for example, or text, the same as these two buttons, and if you click on it you get a new cell and you can put in another code, for example 5 - 7, again use the play button and you get your result, and that's it. That's your first Python programs, which is quite neat. Now one interesting thing and a very helpful thing with these Jupyter Notebooks is when I delete this, you can also add text. For example, I put in here text and then header. And what I write on the left, I see on the right how it will look like. So if I now put in a code, for example 4, and now I make a space so it looks a little bit more readable, and execute this, I get, of course, my result. But the header, maybe I want to have a bigger one, or bold. So I put in bold, and then it's bold, and I have these stars here. So I remove this because I don't want to have it bold, but a first level header. So I click here and now I have a first level header. And now I have this hashtag. So if you're familiar with Markdown, this is exactly Markdown. If you're not familiar with Markdown, don't worry, it's not important. You have these buttons up here. Otherwise, if you put another hashtag, you get a second level header, third level header, and so on. For now, I want to have a first level header. And then I add some additional, and now this shouldn't be only header, but maybe my first Python program. So now I'm happy with this. But now I'm thinking I might want to have some more descriptions. For example, a simple calculation. And now this looks, I'm much more happy with this. My first Python program, a simple calculation, and here it is. So I could now go on, add another text, a second calculation, for example, add some code, 7 - 9, get a result. And with these arrows I can also move this up and down and so on. So this is quite neat here. Now another thing is, on the left hand side there's this folder icon. So if I click on this, I can click on this drive icon and it will then connect to my Google Drive. So this takes a couple of seconds. On the lower left it says mounting Google Drive, and after a few seconds my drive appears here. I go to Drive and here's my drive. I'm not opening it now because for data protection there are a couple of names, but if I would, then I would see my drive. And then the neat thing here is I can store a Python notebook, a Jupyter Notebook to my drive. I can share a folder and thereby work together on a Jupyter Notebook and so on. And this is how Jupyter Notebooks work on Google Colab.